Here's Brody Brazil.
I think I said this, I hope I did on the video before, but yeah, if Laureano plays right field, the real Jadeveon, again, think about that outfield. Pache in center, or I don't care. It could be Pache in right, but you want two strong arms in center and right field. Maybe you want Ramon in right field strategically. He can play center, we know. But maybe you want to take advantage of that arm on a long throw to third base. That's the longest throw in baseball. Need to roll with Kevin Smith all year unless it gets disgusting. Well, I mean, I think there's multiple options. Sheldon Noisy could play third. Chad Pinder could play third. Look, here's kind of what I hope. I mean, I hope that Laureano comes back. That creates competition in the outfield. You've got Piscotty who wants to play a bunch. Seth Brown's got to play somewhere. Then there's a DH, and you got to get Jed Lowry and Stephen Vogt at bats. And you see what I'm saying? There's a lot of moving pieces here. Noisy's got to play or hit somewhere if he's not in the field. I kind of hope that, you know, it's a fight to get ABs. That's good. And even for a team like the A's, with so many players, so many regulars removed, it's good that you still have all these guys and you've got options and you've got competition. I don't want to put any pressure on this team to have any expectation of being a playoff group. If they are, oh man, I would love that pleasant surprise. I would love to be shocked by that. I really would, but I don't want them. I just want them to be respectable, play good baseball, stay together this year. You're building towards something. So you almost don't want to, it's like weird. You do want to taste it and you expect to, but I'll definitely understand if they don't. Ruben, I mean, it's certainly interesting, right? You're minus right now. You're minus James Caprillion, who in my opinion is a top starter, like no question. And you're minus Ramon Laureano, who's one of your everyday players. So add to the equation those two guys to what's already happening right now. And you know, we know when Ramon can come back, and Caprillion, I think, is going to start tomorrow in Single A Stockton. So hopefully it's one or two starts. Hopefully we see Cap on the next homestand. That'd be fantastic. Does AJ Puck start a game in 2022? That's a great question, Raphael. I think, can you work your way into that? Yeah. Would necessity probably dictate that? Maybe, yeah. But I'm also a little bit interested in like stretching a player out, right? Pitch counts. How do you do that? Maybe you do a bullpen game later on if you're minus a starter. Maybe Puck could throw the first 3 innings, do that whole situation. I would imagine it's a potential, but I really think for AJ, he's yet to just find the one role yet where he comes in, does his job, crushes it, gain a ton of confidence. I know he beefed up this year a little bit, got a little bit bulkier, hoping to throw maybe with more body than arm. I just want him to have success. And if that means that it's a promotion into something like that, and he had success elsewhere, then that's great. But I'd rather see him succeed mightily in the bullpen than have to be a starter because people expect it. Right? He can be a critical piece for this team in the pen right now. How come we don't move Pache out of the 9-hole? That's a great question. And I kind of addressed it before when we were talking about him specifically. It's a soft landing spot. I really like that. Maybe you see him someday eventually as a leadoff guy, and that's great. But right now, do the old double leadoff thing. And yeah, he'll get more at-bats, top of the lineup, but it's kind of how Elvis Andrus last year was hitting 9th for a lot of the season, and all of a sudden the bat woke up, and Bob Melvin kept him there. Any spot in the lineup comes with pressure. Like, I'm not here to say, oh, no, don't worry if you get hits down there. No, I'm saying that lengthens the lineup. It stretches it out. You could do the double leadoff thing, turn it over a lot easier if he gets on base. Sometimes, Samuel, I think that's a great baseball trick. You have a guy, he does well, he can kind of live under the radar, put him in the 9-hole, under the radar, surprise the world. Biggest surprise so far? I mean, the fact that Pache has made an immediate impact, I think is the biggest pleasant surprise so far. And I'm not surprised by Sean Murphy's bat or leadership or catching or Frankie's start or Cole Irvin's start today or Seth Brown hitting some dingers or Chad Pinder making loud contact or Elvis Andrus being a solid shortstop, Tony Kemp getting involved a couple times, more opportunity, better stats. Like last year, TK played the most of any big league season in his career. He also had numerically the best season of his career. So there are things that are pleasant, but if we're talking about surprise, I just think, Pache coming over, everyday player at this point, probably it. I would also say the bullpen as a whole, and being pretty solid and reliable so far. It's definitely been a surprise. I say that respectfully. Those guys expected to do that, but I don't know that with as much turnover and transition that everybody thought that's how it would play out. Do the A's get over 500 before the All-Star break? What's their record right now? 4-3. Yes. I think what you're asking is, could they be a 500 team at the All-Star break? Now that right there might be the question. How long can you hover around 500? Because if this is an A's team that some people, and I realize they're exaggerating, that's a 100-loss team now. You lose those guys, you're going to lose 100 games. I still don't think that's going to be the case. Like I said before, it's mathematically possible, but even after this small sample size, I think a different result is going to surprise a lot of people. So let me ask you this. Are most people content right now with this team, where they're at, what they hope to do down the road, being 500 right now? Yeah. I kind of think and even if there is some more transition, like getting to 500, staying there is going to be harder. But I kind of feel like that's an attainable goal. It's definitely one to shoot for. I mean, even good teams say be 500 at the All-Star break, make your second half push, like the A's have always done. But those were under different circumstances. Keep flirting with 500. I think that's, Septic, you're bringing up something here that hadn't really thought about yet. What is a record goal for this team? Opening day, I had no clue what to expect. Had some thoughts. Hadn't seen anybody, this team put it together for real yet. And look, May 1st, June 1st, July 1st, we're going to hit those milestones and know a lot more about this team, what they're capable of, how things are going, who's healthy. But I think 500, is a watermark to shoot for. Will there be any All-Stars? If so, who? Great question. I mean, I'm 7 games in. I'm already telling you who the A's All-Stars could be. If Seth Brown's bat keeps at it, I like him as a consideration. Let me talk about considerations here. Nominees. Frankie pitches well. Caprillion comes back sooner than later, has a really good first half. Cole Irvin, okay? But I think the real one, Sean Murphy. Gold Glove last year, power bat so far, has established. I'm going to put him as the lead dog on my All-Star conversation. He also knows how to back that thing up. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Yeah, we did the interview after the game last night, and he had a couple hits, drove in a couple runs, 3-run homer. That's right, first homer of the season. And I've known him for a while. I wanted to throw in at the end, like after we asked him all the serious questions, I wanted to kind of follow up on the feedback he had been getting from that viral moment, getting beamed in the rear end, and the butt popping out. People say it's like twerking almost, but I said, Murph, I'm going to end it by reciting that old saying, if you got it, flaunt it. And I was told by one of my bosses later, he goes, that was it was good. It was cringy, but it was good. I guess. It's like, that's the point. I want people to enjoy that moment. I want to say something provocative where they're like, what? Do I have a, something like this? Hey, Murph, if you got it, flaunt it. It's going right down the drain. Too many sound effects, Brazil. Okay. Back to the question at hand here. Where are we? Talking about All-Stars, yeah. So, Sean Murphy, up there for me, no doubt. Among others, though, and I would love another pleasant surprise if somebody else emerged. I also have a full rant on this, though. All-Star teams, are they literally first half All-Stars? What about a player who had a really good second half last year and then had a pretty good first half this year? Could they ever be considered? No, because nobody remembers last season and it's this season's All-Star team. But it's really only the first half All-Stars. So, you ever think about that? Like what a player who is a really good second half player and is never an All-Star. Let me tell you a player who was a great second half player and he was never an All-Star. Do the sound effect here. Eric Chavez was never an All-Star. He was never an All-Star. I kid you not. Xavi, never an All-Star. Xavi, never an All-Star. That's ridiculous, right? And I'm doing special effects here, but if you have good first halves, you can be an All-Star. If you have good second halves, you probably go to playoffs and win some games.